like the whole thing there?
Oh, we are unmuted. Okay. Hey, those of you online, we're going to give us another 5 minutes. We are short one for a quorum. Okay. Okay, it is 12:03, and I'm going to call the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council to order for July 8th. Roll call, please.
Julia Lyons,
Here.
Judge Elaine Smith, she's virtual. Dave Dixon, Mike Markran,
Here.
Mike Wooler, Lorraine Gauger, Doug Marotek, Bruce Poquette, Katie Bellinger, she's
I'm
virtual.
here.
Thank you. Judge Yackel, Mark Helwig, Judge Isham, Marshall Savitsky, Kathy McCoy, Bill Trepanier, Amanda Locker.
I'm here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Okay, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And how about those 250-year celebrations? I can tell you it was one of the biggest parades I've ever seen Barnes have. It was crazy, and the fireworks were crazy. So I'm assuming everything was pretty extensive here as well. I don't know.
I avoided town.
And I would not come to Hayward either. Just getting around is crazy. But anyways, I diverge on the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's move into the certification of compliance with open meetings law.
This meeting was noticed to the media and public as required by Section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Okay, and then looking at the meeting agenda, any adjustments or changes? On my part, I'm going to hold on the truancy and diversion report, just because we have so few people here today. And I think that one, we want to have more of our committee here. So we'll just hold on that, but everybody else can read the reports that are attached. Any public comments? Nothing. It's probably good. There weren't as many of us to hear it today anyways. So, okay, consideration for the approval of the minutes from June 10th.
I'll make that motion to approve those minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, let's not get my agenda all mixed up here. Okay. The executive, moving on to 9, the executive committee, we were unable to meet this last time. So we'll have more moving forward. One of the things that we have been kind of talking about is really getting the designees set for the judges. So if everybody is good with that, next month, I'll put that on so that it can be an emotion and approval. And then we can move forward with that. So we'll do that at the beginning, so then we'll, yep, and then we'll be able to move forward with that. So, and we do have standard meetings set at the end of the month for the executive committee. We may be on the search out of additional members, just because it's been difficult, really, especially for Bruce, to be able to make it with the busy schedule he's had. So we'll let you know on that. Otherwise, as we start to get those bylaws updated, I think I'll put just the reference of here's the draft of what it might look like, so that people can start reading it and being cognizant of what we'll eventually be voting on. Anything else for the executive committee that you'd like me to take back? Hearing none, we will move on to the jail report, and we do not have anybody available here today. Lieutenant Waller is excused, as well as Chief and the Sheriff. The report is in there, and we can always bring back questions to them, or if anybody has any comments on.
No, we haven't been at 60 for a while.
Yeah, I just said it's going up. I know we had not me.
Oh.
I get to be here. But I know we had a huge in custody block today. Like 11, I think. Yeah. Yeah, so unfortunately, those numbers look like they're going up, but maybe that's just because of the swell of people. It's so many people. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I
believe
wonder if Becky will have any insight on who is actually, what some of the charges are and what's there. And maybe you have some insight into what we're seeing, anything unusual or just normal?
I'm on. This is Becky. I'm on. So if you have any questions that I can answer, I'm happy to answer them.
Any insight into the population? Is it probation holds? Is it?
If you look at the jail report, the average daily numbers historically, summer is a bigger time for us.
Okay.
Our tourist population increases. There's more drinking that goes on. There's more activity, which that just tends to add to the arrest rate. But I don't think that it's out of line for, like I said, comparing it to past summers. I think that many of us have just been accustomed to the overall population consistently going down. So then when there is like a little jump, it rightfully so makes us concerned about what's causing that. But I truly think that it's summer myself.
Okay,
I was going to say, and if you actually look, we're down from June of 2025 still.
that's good.
If you look at the report, there was 44 and there was 50 last year. So we're still trending down even in June. If you
Great.
compare 25 to 26, so.
well, good to know that there isn't anything alarming or things moving forward. Any other conversation or discussion on the jail report?
I guess then we can ask next month, we have one county out of placement, which seems unusual too. We usually don't have any county out of placements.
Oh.
I don't know if anybody has any insight why that would be.
There could be a conflict within the jail.
Okay.
Yeah, is it, can you go down just low, or up? There you go. Is it a male? Nope, on the very bottom.
It's a male.
Okay. Yep.
There's a number of factors that it could be a conflict, or it could be something that somebody requires, specific medical services that aren't staffed or equipped to handle, or something of that nature.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, then we will move on to Justice Point report and I'll let Becky keep talking.
Okay. So Liz very graciously took my report late. So if anybody wants to follow along, I'll go over stats first. So the month of June, we had 113 active pretrial, 26 referrals, 15 successful completions, and 1 unsuccessful completion. Diversion, 10 active, 6 pending referrals, 1 unsuccessful completion in June. Treatment court, 3 active, no pending referrals, and 1 unsuccessful. Any questions on the statistics?
Nope.
Okay. So moving on, as everybody knows, we lost our deflection funding, not because we did anything wrong, but it ran out and it was not a renewed funding source. So we have been looking for alternate funding options. And although it's TAD season and we're heavy into the pre-application was submitted on June 25th, so things have been really, really busy for us. We also, a grant opportunity came across our desk at the end of June, and it's actually due today, but we submitted it yesterday. This is a really, really big opportunity for us. This is by far the most extensive grant opportunity that I've ever worked on. Thankfully, I had the help of admin from Justice Point, and we had I think, a very, very strong application. That is also included in your packet. Just word to the wise, that is just the narrative portion. Our grant in total is about 100 pages, maybe a little bit more, but the narrative part should be just under 60 pages, the one that you have. So if you print it, it's going to be long. But that is we refer to it as RCORP. So in the future, when you hear me say RCORP, I'm referring to that. It's the Rural Communities Opioid Response Impact Grant. And our total for 4 years, so the term is September 1st of this year to August 31st of 2030. And the total we applied for was $739,977. Now, if we are funded, that will cover what we lost with deflection, because originally with deflection we were awarded $260,000 for annual, but we ended up carrying some of that over. So that's how we ended up having our deflection funded for like 3 years, because we worked on a very, very low budget. But I also wrote other grants to subsidize that. So if we get this one, it will fully cover what we lost with deflection. And as I always like to make a point to say for Mike, there's no match. So that's beneficial. I also just want to really say thank you to everybody that helped. Judge Smith sent us a support letter, Chief Deo, the DA's office, Julia sent us a support letter, Dottie Crust. We got one from AA, and those were all very helpful. It's an integral part of the grant process for us to have letters of support for people stating that they are behind whatever it is that we're pursuing. So I will keep everybody posted on that. Other than that,
Becky, when are they making those decisions? I'm sorry if you said that
well,
already.
they said that the funding term is starting September 1st. They did not give us a specific date as to when we would hear, although I did see on one website this morning when I was looking through that it said August 31st. So if we find out on August 31st that we're funded September 1st, fortunately for us, we've already had a plan in place, and we've been running deflection. So it's not like we have to go back to the drawing board, hire people, post jobs, do all of that, because that takes a lot of time out of project, terms. So I'm happy that we won't have to do that. Is there a point where we may expand? That would be ideal, because right now we only have one Peer Systems Navigator, and we would like to expand that. But this grant would cover our Peer Systems Navigator. It would cover us converting to PSAs in the jail, which will ultimately save us money. It costs money on the forefront to do the contract, but it'll ultimately save us money, and it'll save us time, because it'll free up Michelle quite a bit. And we'll also be able to conduct screens 24/7. And then in addition to that, we wrote into the grant 3 hours a week for mental health specific to recovery court. So we have to wait and see if all of that is funded, but that is in a very, very small nutshell what the grant includes. But you all have the narrative, so you can read through it.
Becky, what happens if you do not get this grant? Because that's a lot of money, and I know you lost a lot with not getting that.
There is a lot of money there. Then we continue to operate as we have been, on a very, very small shoestring budget. And like right now, our community events are being 100% covered by community donations and by volunteer staff. So it would be nice to be able to pay for some of the services we're getting instead of continually asking people to cover them. But I will say also on the flip side of that, I think it goes to show a lot the community support that we have, that so many people have been willing to continue to donate to us. And we're always continually looking for funding opportunities. But I will say this, and I think Julia will back me up. We learned, I used to write grants, like I would see a grant opportunity come out and I would write it from the ground up. And what we really learned and has been beneficial for me is that if we have a plan or a project that we're trying to accomplish and we see a funding source that matches that, then it's a better time to go after that. Because if you have to start from square one, grants are a lot of work. They're worth it because they're free money for the most part, but they are a lot of work. And sometimes, as we've found in the past, like with building bridges and reaching rural, we were awarded those. And then when it came down to it, we didn't end up getting funded because they stopped. They put those grants under review. So although we did all the work, we did all of the legwork, everything was approved and we were ready to go, and then we got our feet cut out from under us. But that's just the nature of the game, and that's what we do. And that's why there's, it's crucial for me to have such great support. I love that our CJCC is so active and that I can reach out to members outside of CJCC and say, hey, I need this. Like I said, Judge Smith was Johnny on the spot. She got me a letter like the next day. Julia did too. So those are much appreciated.
It helps when it's written for you. I was like, I couldn't have written that any better. I'll put it on my letterhead. Thank you very much. The other thing I just wanted to reiterate, like, it is not uncommon for these grants to be notification come out even after that funding is available. It's very common with grants, and we're dealing with that all the time. So you're always backpedaling, and you pretty much have lost, most of the time you've lost 3 months because of the way those grant terms come out. And the other piece is that one of the questions that was in this particular RCorp grant asked about the rural transformation dollars and if we were receiving anything for that. The rural transformation dollars for Wisconsin just came available for grants to be written. There's 4 different categories. I can't remember all of them. We will be looking at that from a county level as well. There wasn't anything that Becky was writing for that is a duplicate of the services that we would be writing for, so there's no conflict there. So just to let you know that there are other rural transformation dollars that may be available that we may be able to use as well. It's nice that this one is actually federal and not competing with the money that came through to Wisconsin, so good for us.
Yes. And just to add to that, like Julia said, we're not duplicating services. And on the contrary, because we work so closely with Julia, Public Health, we make sure that whatever we're doing complements each other so that we can work together and make the most effective use of our resources.
Do you have any more to report out on, Becky?
Nope. That's pretty much it. TAD pre-app went in June 25th, and the RCorp application was submitted yesterday, and I got all of the confirmations. I also do want to say Randy Ean and Brian Lehner, huge help, because I'm contracted, I have to have like a special, almost like backdoor way into, and Randy and Brian were both really great about getting that all set up for me.
Wonderful.
But yep, that's all I have. I've pretty much just been eating, breathing, living grants.
And Becky is very dedicated. I mean, she takes time off of work to make sure she's away from work to be able to spend time on grant writing. So I don't want her using vacation time to write grants. So hopefully she's just was off and getting paid away from the office. So
I'm actually off today, but I did want to update everybody because this was a big deal. This was a really, really, really big deal. This is, like I said, I have never personally written anything so huge.
Yeah, this is kind of like COSUP funding.
It is. It's a good experience. So if they ever actually open COSUP up completely, I think we'll have a good idea of how to work. But just to give you an idea, we had it all completed, and it took us. There was a team of 5 of us. It took us over 5 hours to get everything uploaded into the system yesterday.
Which probably felt good that you had that
my
whole
gosh,
day
huge
ahead of
relief.
time instead of if it fails on you that last day, ooh, it's, yeah. Because I've been known to turn my grant in at 4:30 in the afternoon and do it.
It is really nice to have a team, and we specifically had a project manager on our team, so she created timelines and everything for us and very specific goals of the projects that we were responsible for. That was really helpful.
Yeah, those are the important pieces, kind of that pre-planning. Okay,
Okay, I'm going to log off, but if anybody has any questions, Julia, just send me a message.
okay, that sounds good, thanks.
Thanks.
And we are kind of moving now into Health and Human Services. Like I had said, we will go ahead and have Sarah report out on the diversion report next month. The other reports are in there. One of the things that the team for Youth Justice Team has been dealing with is one of the kids died by gunshot. And so,
Yeah.
it's been tough for the team. But we did crisis this week. And they've been reaching out and keeping all the other kids safe. So that's really, I think, the big part.
I just wanted to say, and
Monica
you
and I
got
are
me.
Sorry.
I just wanted to say that to you and your team, like, I'm so sorry that you guys have to deal with, working with kids, and then you see the progress that's going on, and then something like this happens. It's devastating. It's devastating to everybody, but particularly for you all who are so close and so dedicated to these kids. So I've talked to Sarah, but I know that it's really hard.
Yep.
So just thank you. Thank you
So
all.
they're coming around and they're getting good support. And I think the support that was put in at LCO school to really help with the community, hopefully, is helping with the healing. And we're hoping that that eyes open up with what has happened, and kids will consider decisions that they're making in the future.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. I think, everybody is so quick to jump to blaming the kid. Is this a bad kid? It's a naughty kid, or, this kid's always getting in trouble, or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, that's a child. And a child is going to make the decisions that any kid, any child is going to make the decisions and go to the end of their rope, however long that rope is going to be. It's the adults that are failing them. The adults that are supposed to be tightening that rope, the adults that are supposed to be showing them good, behaviors and good, responsible use of things. And it's also just the culture that we've created around guns and gun violence and the romanticism of gang violence and things like that. And it's just kind of spiraled so far out of control that the way that kids act and the way that they talk about firearms and, this street justice, this gang violence, this the kind of way that they talk now, it's like I've heard it from adults for years, and now I'm hearing it from these kids, and we're blaming the kids for it. It's obviously not the kids' fault. Mm-hmm. We need to be responsible. We need to do a lot better job at, making sure that families have resources, making sure that kids are not just left unsupervised and cared for. I think a lot of things, unfortunately, led to this. But he was a good kid, and he was trying.
Lots of trauma.
Yeah.
And so we just need to be cognizant of those things as we move forward. And again, these wraparound services and things that we can put in place in the community we are making a difference. And I think that we can't forget that.
Yeah.
So,
That's why it's also important for us to celebrate the small victories that we get every once in a while. You know, we'll have a kid come through and we just make so much progress with them and we see them succeed. And that is where we need to just give ourselves the kudos
Yeah,
because we
yeah.
need it. Because then when things like this happen, it's like, oh my God. Yeah, hard times.
so probably good that Sarah
Yeah.
isn't presenting today because it's still a bit of a struggle this week. Other things moving forward, I think everything is pretty standard with our community support program and mobile crisis. We did just have our community partners meeting today. And so one of the things that we do at that meeting is we meet quarterly with the hospital, APS, mobile crisis, all law enforcement agencies are there, and we really talk about ways that we can work better as a community to meet the needs. Sometimes, one of the ones that we did talk about today is in the criminal justice system and not where law enforcement really has a big impact in our behavioral health world as well, but sometimes the two cross. So gives us opportunities to be able to have good discussions, work together. I mean, 4 years ago, we were at each other's throats sometimes in that meeting, and now sometimes we're like, does anybody have anything to report on? It's become really a good situation, and I'm super proud of our community that we work so closely together. So I just wanted to put that kudos out there for that. Anything else in the public health report to call out? One of the things is just when you're looking in at the Sawyer County Healthier Together, it just looks at those priority areas that we're focusing on. Again, the county isn't taking on 100% of the role of the community health needs assessment. We're doing that together with the hospital. We're working as a community to move forward. Substance use, mental health, and basic needs are what we are targeting over the next couple of years. And my final thing that I wanted to report out on is the opioid settlement dollars. We are approving 5 members, and actually Becky put this in her report, approving 5 members from the recovery court team to go to All Rise Conference in Nashville. We are very happy that we were actually, she's got nine probably, 5 members are attending. I think it's going to be great. All of the information is amazing that is on that, and Judge Smith might even have a comment on the importance of going to All Rise. I'm not sure. She talks very highly of that.
I have gone before and I highly recommend it. There's so much valuable training that you can get there. So I'm really glad that you have 5 members going. We have 2 people from here that are going.
Wonderful. So that's all I have on Health and Human Services report. Does anybody have any questions?
Can I ask a question? It just says that.
Oh, like who is Tom? Like,
It's me over here in the
Yes.
corner. It just says that CCS, they're still having problems getting things up and running, reinstated. I've been hearing that for 20 years.
I
guess I'm wondering,
we've had
what is
six people referred to the program
Okay.
in the last 2 months. So my next phase that I have to do is North Lakes is not certified. So we need to get them certified in order because people don't want to change their provider. So North Lakes is my next step to be able to get in. Actually, 3 of them have insurance, and you can't have insurance, you have to have medical assistance. So some people are getting referred to our programs that actually have insurance and don't qualify. And we have one that is coming on board. We are waiting for the physician's order. So we're getting there. The next phase 2 is the connection with recovery court And I think as we grow, we've talked about this in our recovery court steering meetings, is as we start getting members there, one of the avenues will be into CCS as well. So even though we can't court order that, it's an avenue that we can offer in that repertoire of things.
So does Health and Human Services just have the one mental health counselor still? Is that correct?
Yes. Yep. And truly, like, I don't know that we'll ever be able to, we can't, we pretty much are going to probably have to always contract or have outside behavioral health therapists or mental health therapists that are, because we cannot compete financially with what they're getting paid from North Lakes Clinic or any of the clinics. Like, it definitely is a service, like you have to be willing to come in. And Joe is coming in and he can pick up clients and we're kind of watching
I
that.
saw that. I thought he had retired and I saw
Yeah,
that in the report
but-
too. It's like,
Yep.
okay.
Yep, nope, we brought him back in. In that is going actually very well. He's doing OWI assessments. He's been working with me strictly in Chapter 51 on the other side of things. And he sits in on our, we've now started teaming meeting every Tuesday. So any potential referrals that are coming in, they come into a central referral line. So we're really not even getting referrals at this point on that, on the CCS programming coming in. So, but we have, once in a while, we'll get a CSP, CCS, like there's not a lot coming up through where you would think there's a big waiting list of things. But I think part of it is, again, that we're using, for our youth, we're using quite a few North Lakes providers. And I think I've got 3 of them that we're regularly using. And Melinda had just reached out for me last week. I'm like, which providers are you using? And we need to start having those discussions. So moving into that status too.
And I know that you brought this up already, but it's going to be something that we talk about with Recovery Court too, because we are missing that piece. And it is, it's hard because we can communicate with North Lakes. Sometimes we can communicate with Bajiki. Sometimes there's issues with communicating with both. And it's kind of, I think that everybody could benefit from it. So we are kind of having that discussion with how can we figure this out through Recovery Court too? Maybe we can get, so it's a thought. We're working on it. But yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for
But
that
good
update.
question.
I appreciate it. It
Just-
just seems
I'm-
like this has been an ongoing issue that barriers being thrown up to get this up and running. And I mean, I'm talking back to when I was on the county board. This
Well,
is like,
and in 2019, there was 75 clients. And then COVID hit. And then we lost counselors, and then everything has not really reestablished. But, and it might have been a thing before that. I just know it was functioning for a while.
Yeah.
And now it's,
well, it's good to know that you're
It's
making
drawing.
progress.
Yes,
in
we're
that.
we're finally
Because I
getting
think,
there.
Like, Judge Isham, Mike, you were talking about, I think it is a piece that we're still missing that, would be nice to get up and running.
and some of the work that we're doing, I mean, I know it's kind of feels a little awkward, but I can kind of explain, like, some of the work that we're doing internally, we're doing under grants right now. So like truancy and diversion, like we have grant funding for that. But a lot of the work that is being done there is actually CCS billable, but we can't bill CCS and we can't do that at this point because it's being grant funded and that's subrogating and you can't do that. But the priority and what we're doing over these next 6 months is to be able to make sure that Melinda is fully certified so that when that comes around, and then we're going to be working with those providers that she's got these clients with, so that they're CCS certified, so that by the time we don't have that full grant funding, we're having that infrastructure and that's our longevity. So that's the benefit of getting grants, is it allows you time to build these programs up and move pieces forward.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Okay, I guess I'm running this meeting. I probably should move on to, I almost like, what's next? Okay, any other things for public or health and human services? Okay, community services updates. We don't really have anybody from Dave, but do you have something? No? Okay. Any outside committee updates? Correspondence, reports from conferences and meetings? We'll probably have some in a couple months after they get back from All Rise. Katie's going too. Katie's online. I'm hoping Katie's still going. Any future agenda items, we'll just carry over that truancy and diversion. Oh, set designees for judges. Anything else? Okay, new agenda item, finalization of business. I don't think we have anything to sign off on. Is that really what that is for? Okay.
So as far as like county preliminary budgets, Mike, what are we looking at in terms of?
Those are due to me at the end of the month, and then we'll start going through them and meeting with department heads.
So we could get some idea a little bit what funding's going to be available for services, you know, for jail,
We
mental
might
health
have-
counseling, that kind of stuff, you know, if, I think it's important this committee kind of know what's available or
We can.
what might be needed, and we can advocate as necessary, you know, for funding in those areas that we feel is important, right? So maybe you can keep us abreast or kind of,
Yeah, we'll be going through stuff in August and then start putting that together in September.
okay. Which got us back to finalization of businesses for this committee to try to be a little more active in perhaps doing resolutions or just even motions that, hey, you know, if you're only looking at $100,000 for mental health in the jail and we think we need 150, or the jail people think they need you know what I mean? Not to go over your head or get in your way, but to advocate for the things that we feel are important in that budget, and to do it in a fashion that we can present it to the county board and to everybody that, you know, we think these are priorities, basically, so. Appreciate it.
Again, discussion of priorities. Yeah, and we could probably put that forward to the board and say this came from CJCC. That's
We can, with the executive committee, maybe at least come up with, because we do have some of those strategy or the high topic areas that the board felt are as most important to move forward, and be able to at least get those on for next month to really look
Yeah,
at.
and that might be good, because I think that would be helpful when you formulate the budget and when the county board sees the budget, that these are, even if we don't put numbers, like you said, that these are what we think are our priorities in our community for operating programs, right? So that's a great idea.
Yeah, good idea, for sure.
Okay. I better write that down, so I remember. Set priorities.
I got a question. And it might be, I don't know, kind of ruffling some things. The situation just happened. I don't know what it was, and I was just wondering, isn't that something that maybe we want to talk about in this committee? So that, you know, people on this committee are aware of what is happening? So, I mean, maybe one of you guys could expound on what, you know, I don't want to get you guys upset again, but
Yeah.
because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of the children who we've been working with, and he's, had a struggle. He was shot and killed on last Friday, be the Friday of Muskie Fest, so. And, yeah, very young person, very sad situation.
See, we heard so much when you're working with them like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And genuinely, I mean,
It came out of left field. for
Yeah.
them.
really making progress, And, of course, we try to keep, things, when we're working with kids, it's a private thing. I mean, the hearings are closed, everything is as private as possible, but when, something like this happens and everybody just jumps to, well, it's a bad kid, or, this, and that kills me, because you don't know, you don't know what this kid has been struggling with. You don't know what kind of life this child has had. Both of his parents are passed from ODs. I mean, it's just an awful, awful tragic situation. And to, just judge it without knowing is harmful. And it also is not gonna change anything if we're just villainizing these children who are maybe making really bad decisions, maybe making really big mistakes, but they're still children, right? They're still kids. They're still our responsibility in our community to make sure that they are successful and that we can try to give them the best chance at a good life as possible. So when people have those types of responses, it just turns my stomach. Like, we should have a completely opposite view. This should be, like you said, a wake up. Like, okay, like, we've had a lot of close calls, I would say, like a lot of minor and possession of firearm charges, a lot of kids who are, running around with guns. And we've had situations where kids will bring guns out and, in fights or whatever. But up until now, it hasn't, we did have last year another situation similar to this, and with juveniles. So it's like, I don't know, we've got to do something about it. We've got to address it in some way. Maybe there needs to be some information. Maybe there needs to be some more community involvement with, other things for kids to do,
Yeah.
right?
Well, Judge, that's why I
Positive
wanted-
things for kids to do.
I wanted, when you said kind of a wake-up call, kind of a wake-up call for us. And that's why I wanted you guys to kind of explain what happened, because, you say a wake-up call for the community.
Yeah, we are
for us, too.
representing the community,
Yeah.
yes, and we
Yeah.
need to be, and one of the things, like Judge said, is activities to keep kids busy. One of the things that we hear most often on kids that we're working with is just they're bored, or there aren't other activities, or they're spending a lot of time on screens, and they're just getting involved in things that are not healthy for their minds and bodies. Looking at, and Melinda's dream is that we get a YMCA here. We qualify for one in our community. And so, how do we actively get behind some of these things? It might not feel like those are like the ways to make changes, but they are. It's giving those healthy activities, having kids hang out in the Walmart parking lot. Socializing is not a great place to be. Those are not the kind of activities we want to see our kids in. This year, being that we have a couple minutes, this year we will be seeing some changes in screen availability in schools. Schools have now voted that, or Hayward District anyways, is no phones from bell to bell. We're hoping that some of that social status will be going down. We will be using some of our, we have prevention dollars that we've done with billboards in the past. We'll be using some of that funding to really talk about screen time, healthy habits for our kids, the things that can stop bullying, places where they can be safe, because there's a lot of extortion and other really dangerous things happening to our kids as well. So that is really going to be our focus on our prevention funds. We'll use a little bit of opioid settlement dollars in that, and then the prevention dollars. So you'll see some billboards going up. We want to support the schools in these decisions. And it was where we were going anyways. The school just happened to make the policy. I was like, okay, it's all aligning. So if we want to think about our focus in the future with us, it's how do we create an environment that's safe for our children to be and keep them occupied in things that are safe for them to be doing in the community.
Yeah, I know that, one thing is sports. Sports are always like such a, a way to get kids involved. And I don't know if anyone else has noticed, and maybe you don't have 1,000 children, but my 1,000 children are like, sports have changed. You've got to be like so super serious about it, and like everybody's got to be super wealthy and invested and be able to drive all these places and be able to, and a lot of kids now won't even go out for the sport. They won't even play the sport just for fun anymore because they can't give the commitment, the level of commitment that sports are requiring now. And I just saw a study, and I'm sorry, I know that I talk too much, but I just saw a study that actually I think it was Sports Illustrated, and it was that youth sports are $1 billion industry now. And that people are trying to capitalize now on the youth sports industry. So that's now becoming like a big financial, like capitalism thing. So unfortunately, around here, where you need a car to get anywhere, where you need reliable, a ride to get anywhere, where you need parents who don't work or aren't busy or aren't, and so many kids just don't have those opportunities. So I was talking to, a couple other people, my dad and my sisters and everything, because my family was really close with this kid. And sorry, my nephew is really one of his like best friends, and it's really hard. Okay, so anyway, his idea is to have like basketball games, like go around to the different courts, like pickup games, like, and from this time to this time, we're going to be at this court, whoever wants to come and play kind of thing, and just move it around. And actually, we're doing one tomorrow at the Watertown basketball courts after, at 6. So if anybody has any kids who want to come play basketball, bring them along. But yeah, just, that's another idea. So maybe we can think of like, rec sports or a rec team or something like that kids could do. Sorry. I know
Parks
that
and
one.
Rec, like what some of the other, I think of Eau Claire and the big Parks and Rec that they have, and more of those, and not the tournament sports,
Yeah.
just the fun sports.
Right,
Julie, what
right.
did
Like
you say that-
intramural, things
we're-
like that.
We're like authorized or whatever to be a YMCA to get one.
Yeah, well, we can find out a little bit more about that, but Melinda's already been doing the research to see like, what would it take for us to get a Y here? And
Yeah.
how much would it cost as an investment to the community to be able to put that in? And how would we support that? And of course, she wants to do everything under like Health and Human Services. I'm like, we are not opening up a YMCA, but maybe we can do that as a community.
That's a great
So you
idea.
got somebody looking into it.
And actually, we
great
can bring
idea.
that back, like if that's like, what is that, what would that really mean? And how would we do that? I mean, that could be something where we could say, CJCC is endorsing, let's go out as a community and raise money to get this, and I don't even know how they run and who they do. I don't know how that works, but wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, that'd be great. You don't have to pay, just show up.
And I was gonna say too, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, we just played pickup games all the time. And I think Tamarack Health is a facility that is underutilized by our youth at this point. Kids do go over and just practice basketball. I mean, I see them randomly, just at night or whatever, but I think there's a potential there. If we can get the old people over there by the hundreds to play pickleball, you think we could get
This is the one at the school? the high school?
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
that there are barriers for
There are
our
barriers
kids
there.
to be involved. And maybe we can bring
Right,
back
I
the
don't know anything
barriers.
about the history, I just know the
Okay,
facility
how about we
is
talk
there.
about the barriers
You have
on
to have a
that?
membership. You gotta pay.
Yeah.
But I think, so maybe I'd be really interested if people want to give me some insight into what those barriers are, because
Yeah.
I actually know quite a bit
Yeah, and,
about and the people over there.
This might be one thing, just throwing it out there, but kids who get in trouble at school,
Are not allowed on grounds then,
will be banned from the grounds of the school.
including the,
Including any
Including.
activity.
that's, see, and that's a problem. You're absolutely
And
right.
that's
a big-
happening
That's a big
a lot.
barrier, yeah. That's interesting.
That's where you need a YMCA. Because they are not allowed on those school grounds.
They're
But of
banning
course, that's
left,
changing-
right,
that's-
center.
But that, I want to go in, but that's changing attitudes too. That's, those policies are put in place by boards and changing attitudes.
Yeah.
You can change policies, so, yeah, that's, I hadn't thought about that, but I.
don't hear a lot of
just feel like it's
positive
an
things,
underutilized
honestly.
Facility in terms of youth.
Not
right?
about that. I just don't. But I don't hear a lot of positive things about that addition to the high school.
No, I think it's totally, in
I
terms of
think that
youth,
this
it's totally
place is
underused.
beautiful.
Yep,
It's
totally
completely
underutilized.
underused. It could be used in
Yes.
so many better ways.
That's what I'm
We-
just saying, it's,
Yeah.
the potential is
I agree.
there, but we're just
And
not,
maybe
it's
that's
not
part-
getting used.
Something we can bring
Yeah,
forward
especially
as
for
a
youth.
recommendation.
Yeah. That's good talk.
Good.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Okay, any other discussion? Good discussion. Sometimes having a smaller group leads to more discussion. So our next meeting is scheduled for August 12th and at noon. And hearing nothing else, we are adjourned. Thank you.